You have been chosen to take part in the reshaping of reality as we know it. The primordials, who make up all elements and matter in existence, have been challenged by their kin for domination of the material plane. Or would they rather preserve its natural order? This battle takes place on the home they have all built together, the material plane and planet Alima itself, with the rage of the cosmos brewing amongst the sanctuary of all. To start, you must choose which primordial you wish to represent, as you will form their avatar for conquest. The great creator formed the elements of all, and gave his 9 special souls the task of controlling these concepts. Alima, the roar of the earth, molder of the ground below your feet, and the life force within your body. Alizair, the chaos leviathan, former of the waves and the invoker of evolution. Artica, the creeping dread, bringer of cold and challenge. Ezra, the heavenly light, above and within. She who created the sun and purifies. Inferno, the ever-burning, conjurer of persisting flame and a wrathful warrior. Nyx, the Night Mother, creator of the moon, stars, and darkness, along with the monsters that lurk within. Raziel, the master of death. All things but him can wither and die through his will, and may find a peaceful home in his realm. Tempest, the coming storm, whose energy is endless and spreads above the skies. Vega, the Star Surfer, brilliant weaver of magic and elemental power, watching over the material plane from beyond mortals' reach. All primordials are untouchable except by the truly unstoppable in their elemental planes, but can manifest a core of their element on the material plane. With the wise decisions and the fortunate opportunity, a primordial can possess a truly empowered core into their avatar form. A primordial's avatar is but a smaller percentage of a primordial's true power, but has their full consciousness imbued into it, only to be released upon a core's destruction. Gaze upon the field that your avatar's core shall be planted. This is the Guardian Row, where a creature summoned or returning from the other 2 rows will appear. As long as a creature is here, they will defend their core until their dying breath, making the core unable to be attacked. The attacker row is where a creature goes to deliver its damage upon any opponent it can reach. The invoker row is the destination for creatures who hold unique abilities that they can manifest with all of their attention, at the cost of not doing physical battle or standing as a defender of the core. This is the enchant zone, where a primordial may infuse themselves with deep magics. These are mighty enough that they can only be held onto for a short period of time, until the start of your next turn. This is you, starting at 20 health, and at level 1. There are 2 ways to be victorious with the rage of the cosmos. You can either be the last primordials remaining, proving you are capable of vanquishing your kin, or you can reach level 4, which transforms you into your avatar form, able to conquer all who oppose you. This last meter on your character is your rage meter. Whenever you take damage, you gain rage equal to the amount, and this rage can be spent to perform one of 3 actions on your turn. But first, let's get into basic gameplay. Your deck contains 30 cards, and there is a shared demi-primordial deck amongst all combatants that is used rarely. Your starting and maximum hand size is 7 cards, and if you exceed your maximum amount of cards, you discard at the end of your turn. If your deck runs out of cards, whether by mill or drawing, shuffle your deck. However, if you need to draw from your deck with no cards in it, the shuffle replaces your draw. At the start of your turn, you draw 2 cards, and may play up to 3 cards. Abilities your core can activate with rage count as cards played. In your deck, there are creatures cards, opportunity cards, enchantment cards, and spell cards. A creature has its name, damage, and health. When a creature is played, it is placed in the Guardian Row first, and will be returned there at the start of your next turn. During your turn, you may choose to send a creature from the Guardian row to the attacker or invoker rows in order to progress the game in whichever way needed. As long as you have a creature in the Guardian row, your opponents must deal with it before they can attack your core. If a creature deals damage to another creature by attacking, or otherwise, both monsters will inflict their attack value into each other's health value. This damage remains on the creatures until their health value is brought to 0. Then it is sent to the discard pile. Some abilities allow for a creature to regain life. If a creature has lifesteal, it may restore health equal to the damage dealt to either your core or to itself. However, the damage is healed after damage received, so if it drops to 0 health from the initial combat, the creature still dies. In other words, you can slow your creature's demise, but you can't cheat death. If a creature has abilities prefaced with attack, invoke, or guardian, that means that ability is only possible when it sits in one of those 3 zones. For example, this Death Paladin has an attacker row ability of lifesteal, but an invoker row ability to cause a creature's death to heal your core. If he sits anywhere but the attacker row, he does not have lifesteal. Next, we shall talk about spell cards. They are cards that are played on your turn. Their effect resolves, and then they go to the discard pile. They are usually pretty handy, but there are not an abundance of them in any deck, so use them wisely. An enchantment card is played into the enchant zone, and it remains there until the start of your next turn with its abilities in play until then, making you a much less desirable target to your opponents. An opportunity card is similar to a spell card. However, the card does not cost one of your 3 playable cards on your turn, primarily due to them being able to be cast on your or your opponent's turns, but they say when they are allowed to be cast. To jump back to spells for a bit, there is a spell card in everyone's deck called Ascend, which states that you raise your level if your primordial is out. But what does that mean? Well, you and your opponents are not the only element on the board. At the start of the game, and before the first turn player's turns from that point afterwards, there are 3 primordials elemental realms that appear for all to draw power upon. Certain cards like Ascend, Ritual, and Spawn make use of one of these 3 primordials. Ascend simply gains you a level if your primordial is out in the realms. Ritual uses one primordial's unique ability, and Spawn transforms one of your creatures into the fabled demi-primordial. That's right. By combining whatever element you are and one element on the elemental realm board, you can remove one creature you own from the battlefield and grab the appropriate demi-primordial to replace it. Should the demi-primordial be destroyed, add the card back to your hand, and you may only resummon it with the Spawn card again, or choose a different demi-primordial for it to become. Your opponents will not get to choose a demi-primordial you have already summoned to transform their creatures into. So, pick your favorite that's available at the time and lord it over your foes. The card Shift the Realms allows you to guarantee one primordial will show up at the start of the next round of primordials. When it comes to creatures on the board, you may only have a total of 3 at any given time, so in order for you to replace any, they must be destroyed or returned back to hand by an ability. Just keep in mind, if an ability returns a creature to hand, they keep the damage that's on them. No infinite strike teams here, and that's about it. Another fine product produced by Mortimer, God of Famine. As with all things, nothing is perfect and foolproof, so if there is a question, take it up with the Dungeon Master. Let's go through things again, real quickly. There are 3 primordial realm slots that are exchanged at the start of a round. You are the core of a primordial avatar, with 20 health, starting at level 1 out of 4, with a maximum capacity for 6 rage, which rage is gained when damaged. Your max hand size is 7 cards, discarding at the end of your turn any extra. And at the start of your turn, you return any creatures not in the Guardian row to that spot. Remove any enchantments you have and draw 2 cards. During your turn, you may play up to 3 cards, being spells, creatures, and enchantments.
but you may have only one enchantment on you at any given time, and you may attack or invoke with any creature in your Guardian Row, even if they have just been summoned, or simply leave them in the Guardian Row to defend your core. You may attack any creature or core, as long as the core is not defended by a creature in the Guardian Row. Opportunity cards do not have a limit on how many may be played. However, they do say when they can be played, even on opposing turns, resolving on a stack if multiple are played. Creatures inflict their top left damage value to opposing targets, health value, with creatures and cores being destroyed if they reach 0 health for any reason. Demi-primordials can be acquired with the Spawn spell. Your goal is to be the last one standing, or the first to reach level 4 to become an avatar. For any rule changes or extra detail, refer to your dungeon master, and may the rage of the cosmos drive you forward, hero.